to share a story with you that has stuck with me, has impacted me, it humbled me, it challenged me to be a better leaner. And I'll get into it. I was traveling one day between Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to Columbia, South Carolina. And along the way is Camden, South Carolina. Good place to stop and take a break. But it's in this McDonald's bathroom, and you know, bathrooms are just kind of quiet places. People don't normally have conversations, whatever. It's just kind of cool and kind of like just an empty building. Had that kind of a feeling. And so to my left, I see this man, and he's kind of a big guy, black man. And I immediately saw his clothes, looked like might have been a truck driver. Didn't see any name or anything, but just that's what I saw. But we were both sink washing our hands. And, you know, I'm 2 feet from another human being. And all of a sudden, with this booming voice, he says, "How you doing today, sir?" And it was just the most heartfelt question. It was like, whoa, it just changed everything. And I was thinking, why didn't I do that? I have a sister that said, "I always like to speak first." Sam Walton said, "I always like to speak first." Here's how it humbled me. I discovered the power of leaning and leaning moments, and I always try to recognize leaners, but I'm not the greatest leaner. I don't know if I'll ever in this lifetime reach the level Sam Walton was on, the level that my sister was on, the level that Princess Diana was on. So many people that I've known over the years and seen leaners. So I aspire to do better. But I wanted to, and if you've heard me in videos, the mission of the Leaning Institute is to recognize leaners, to preserve the ones that we have, because we know of, while I'm talking about preserving, we know people that did great things, and I don't call it falling down, but they stood up, they quit leaning and lost some of that great influence. So what I've learned is recognize, because people don't know it, and preserve the ones that we have and foster more, help them to be better leaners. I'm in that group, always wanting to be better. Well, so I go back to my mission. I thought about the impact he had on me and how it charged my spirit. It just changed the mood. You know, I was in this coming along, and all of a sudden, wow. But I knew right away, as soon as he spoke, I'm in the presence of a leaner. And so at this particular McDonald's, there was a convenience store, you know, and gas pumps, as way many of them are now. And so when I came out of the bathroom, he was standing over near the crackers or cookies or something, and I wanted to take the opportunity to thank him for what he did. And so I went over and I said, "I want to tell you, sir, I thank you for taking that moment just to say good morning, and how it just charged my spirit and it brightened my day." He said, "Oh, well, thank you, sir, you're welcome." So, but I had a couple more questions for him. I said, "I'm always curious, you know, where that comes from." And I don't recall whether he told me like mom or dad, but everybody asked that question, a leaner can go right back to another leaner, which is always fun for me. So I told him though, I said, "You know, I said, you probably don't realize what you do for the world." I said, "You know, if you do that through a day," and he broke in, we were having a conversation, and he said, "Well, you know, I always try to do that." He said, "I always speak to everybody I can." He said, I try to do that. And I said, "Well, I appreciate it so much." I said, "You don't know how much difference you probably make, and I know you make in the world." And he said, "You know, I don't think I ever thought about that. This is why I'm talking about preserving leaners." He said, and recognizing. He said, I don't think I ever thought about it, but you know, I believe you're right. I believe you, because I can see and think about it. You know, when I talk to people, speak to them, and I knew that was true for me, but I said, here's something I know about you. You have a good life. I said, I know this without you telling me. I said, "Do you have children?" He said, "Yes, sir, I do." I said, "I know something. When you come home, they can't wait to see you." He said, "Oh, you got that right." He said, "Them children," that's what he said. He said, "Them children, they all over me when I come home." And what a countenance, what a life, what a successful man. But I still, to this day, just cherish that story. Just thinking about it charges my spirit. The only downside to it is I didn't speak first. I've learned from him, because if you don't come from the leaners, it's not that easy. It really isn't that easy. It's something we have to work toward, but the benefits are just amazing. And I want to be like that guy. I want to be him. You know, I'm not the example. He's the example, because he creates that love everywhere he goes. He did it. He just did it for me and charged that spirit. I still think about him with the fondest memories. And I hope wherever he is, I wish I knew his name so I could give him credit, but I don't. You know, but I think about his life, you know, his children. He's not producing baggage in his home. His children, I can assure you, they're getting that boost. So it's always a purpose to his day. In families and homes, you know, increase the boost and decrease that baggage. Thank you.